The sound is not one of glory. It is the sound of grinding, of splintering wood and groaning bronze. A 7-foot spear, the tip of a god's own anger, slams against a curved wall of layered plywood and brass. The spear point, designed to punch through flesh and bone, scrapes uselessly aside. For the first time in his life, the Spartan warrior, a man forged in the crucible of absolute perfection, feels the tremor of doubt. Before him is not a man, but a number, and behind that number, 1,000 more just like him. How could this be? How could a warrior born to be a weapon fail? How could an unstoppable force, the pinnacle of human martial achievement, be broken against a wall of common men? This is the Divine Riddle, and to solve it we must look past the bronze and the steel and into the very soul of the warriors themselves. You are standing in the heart of Laconia, but you are not you. You are a child of 7, taken from your mother. Your name is a whisper you will soon forget. Your new name is pain. Your new family is the pack. This is the agoge. You learn to read, but only enough to understand orders. You are taught music and dance, but only the rhythms of the march and the choreography of the phalanx. You are fed just enough to leave you in a constant state of gnawing hunger, forcing you to steal, to hunt, to become a predator. If you are caught, you are not beaten for the theft, but for the clumsiness of being discovered. Your life is a singular 20-year ceremony dedicated to forging your body into a shield and your spirit into a spear. By the time you earn the crimson cloak, you are no longer a man. You are a component, a perfect interchangeable part of a living weapon called Sparta. Your purpose is not victory. Your purpose is a beautiful death. Now, let that world fade. You are standing on a dusty provincial road, miles from your farm in Etruria. You are not a warrior by birth. You are a citizen, a farmer, a blacksmith, perhaps a stonemason, but you have answered the call. You are a legionary. Your training is not a way of life. It is a brutal, soul-crushing job. You march 20 miles a day in full armor, carrying not just your shield and weapons, but a saw, a pickaxe, a basket, and stakes for the fortified camp you will build from scratch every single night. You are taught to obey, not to think. The centurion's vine staff is a constant, stinging reminder of disciplina. You are not forged into a hero. You are hammered into a cog, a reliable, replaceable part in a vast, merciless machine called Rome. Your purpose is not a beautiful death. Your purpose is the methodical, grinding extension of the eagle's shadow. The Spartan was a masterpiece. The Roman was a tool. And in that difference, fate had already chosen a victor. Look at the instruments they carried. The Spartan carries a trinity of arms, perfected over generations and then frozen in time. In his left hand, the aspis, a 3-foot concave shield of wood and bronze. It is heavy, so heavy that it is a monument to commitment. Its famous lambda is not just a symbol, it is a statement of identity. It is designed to protect not just you, but the man to your left. In his right hand, the dory, the long spear, the primary weapon of his world. It is a weapon of reach and discipline, meant to be used from within the safety of a living wall. At his side, the xiphos, a short sword for moments of desperation. His entire panoply is a declaration of faith in a single perfect system, the phalanx. The Roman's equipment is not a declaration of faith. It is a toolkit for problem solving. He carries the scutum, a long curved shield that covers him from shoulder to shin. Its shape is no accident. It is designed to deflect blows and to lock together with the shields of his comrades, forming the dreaded testudo, a tortoise of overlapping shields impervious to arrows and stones. This is not the shield of a hero. It is the moving brick of an engineer. In his hand he carries not one primary weapon, but two. First, the pilum, a heavy, ingeniously designed javelin. Its long, soft iron shank was made to bend upon impact so that it could not be thrown back. Its purpose was singular: to be hurled in a devastating volley that would shatter an enemy's charge, punch through their shields and leave them crippled and disorganized before the lines ever met. Only then, in the chaos he had created, did the legionary draw his true weapon, the gladius hispaniensis, the Spanish sword, a short, broad, wicked tool designed for one thing and one thing only: killing a man who is standing less than an arm's length away from you. It was not a dueling weapon, it was an instrument of industrial-scale slaughter. The choice of weapon was a choice of philosophy. The Spartan fought with the spear, a weapon of distance and order. The Roman with the sword, a weapon of brutal, claustrophobic intimacy. And these philosophies gave birth to two entirely different beasts of battle. The Spartan Phalanx was a magnificent, terrible creature, a single organism of 8 to 12 ranks deep, a hedgehog of spear points bristling from behind a solid wall of bronze. To face a charging phalanx was to face an avalanche of sharpened steel. On open, level ground, it was the most dominant force the ancient world had ever seen. Its strength was its unity. Its power was its momentum. But its soul was rigid. It could not turn quickly. It could not maneuver on broken ground. It could not easily replace its casualties. It was a predator perfected for a single type of hunt. The battle was no longer about courage. It was about geometry. The Roman legion was different. It was not one beast, but a collection of them. It was divided into smaller, flexible units called maniples, and later, cohorts. Think of it not as a solid wall, but as a checkerboard. This structure was a work of grim genius. It allowed the legion to adapt to any terrain. It allowed it to flow over hills and through forests where the phalanx would simply fall apart. But its greatest secret was its system of relief. The legion fought in 3 lines. As the first line of men grew tired, it could peel away, falling back through the gaps in the checkerboard to rest and reform, while the fresh second line moved forward to take its place. The phalanx was a single glorious effort. The legion was a relentless, grinding tide. So let us return to that moment of impact, the clash of empires on a field of grass. The Spartan phalanx advances, a vision of mythological terror, the sun glinting off 1,000 identical shields. They are an unbreakable wave of human will. The Roman line is silent, disciplined, waiting. They are not heroes. They are exterminators. The centurion roars an order. A dark cloud rises from the Roman line. Hundreds of pila arc through the sky. They do not just kill. They are a weapon against a system. They slam into the wall of Spartan shields, the soft iron shanks bending, weighing the shields down, rendering them awkward and useless, tearing gaping holes in the once impenetrable wall. The perfect formation is now ragged. The avalanche has been disrupted. Before the Spartans can recover, the legionaries advance at a trot, not into the spear points, but against them. They do not try to outreach the dory. They brace their curved shields, absorb the initial thrust, and use the shield's boss to punch forward, to shove the Spartan off balance, to get inside the spear's effective range. And now, the world shrinks to a space of inches. The long Spartan spear is useless here, a clumsy encumbrance in the suffocating press of bodies. The Spartan draws his xiphos, but it is too late. The fight is already on the Romans' terms. The legionary, protected behind his towering scutum, does not swing his gladius like a hero. He does not need to. He makes small, economical, vicious thrusts from behind his shield wall. A stab to the exposed thigh, a thrust into the throat above the breastplate, a gutting motion into the abdomen. It is not a duel, it is a dissection. The Spartans are the greatest individual warriors on the field. but they are being forced to fight as individuals. Their system has been broken. The Romans are lesser warriors, man for man, but their system is intact. As the front rank tires, it pulls back, and a line of fresh, eager men takes its place, a seamless exchange of lethal force. The Spartans have no such luxury. They must stand and die where they are. They die beautifully, they die with courage, but they die. The unstoppable force was stopped because the unbreakable wall was never a wall to begin with. It was a machine designed to take its enemies apart, piece by bloody piece. Spartan perfection was a monument, glorious but brittle. Roman adaptability was a plague, ugly and relentless. In the end, this is more than a contest of soldiers. It is the eternal drama of history played out in blood and bronze. Sparta represents the pinnacle of tradition, a society that achieved a terrifying perfection and then stopped, believing it had found the ultimate answer. Rome represents the hunger of adaptation, a culture that conquered the world not because it was the best, but because it was willing to learn, to steal, to change, to become whatever it needed to be to win. One culture perfected the man, the other perfected the system, and while the legend of the perfect warrior echoes through eternity, a story we tell ourselves about the power of the human spirit, it was the system that inherited the earth. The Spartans became a myth, the Romans became the future.